Hello friends and dear students. In today's class, I am going to analyze the poem Jazz Poem 2 written by Carl Wendell Heinz the Jr. The poet Carl Wendell Heinz the Jr. has written two jazz poems. This is the second jazz poem and therefore the title of the poem is Jazz Poem 2. Usually, a poem is written in the stanza form with a rhyme scheme. But this poem has no rhyme scheme. It is written in what is called free verse. Free verse is a modern form of poetry that does not follow any specific rhyme or metrical scheme, although it does not completely abandon the basic poetic sensibility. The words of a stanza continue and end in the next stanza. The punctuations are not strictly followed here. But remember, poems are for appreciation. Having that in mind, let us go through the poem Jazz Poem 2 written by Carl Wendell Heinz the Jr. The poem begins with the lines, "There he stands, see, like a black ancient mariner." The comparison is between the black jazz musician and the ancient mariner in Coleridge's poem. Who is the ancient mariner? The Ancient Mariner is a famous poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge in which a seaman shoots an albatross, a bird of good omen, and suffers supernatural punishment. Like the ancient mariner, the old jazz musician feels that he has a message for the people of the world. His wrinkled old face, so full of the wearies of living, is turned downward with closed eyes. These lines tell us that the jazz player is very old and he has no interest in life. He is alone and has pain in his heart. So he keeps his head down with closed eyes. His frayed collar, faded blue old shirt turns dark with sweat, and the old necktie undone drops loosely about the worn old jacket, just barely holding his sagging stomach in. Yeah, the word old has been used 4 times in the first 11 lines of the poem. Here, the word old suggests that the jazz player was aged and the things he has are worn out or outdated. Jazz player has lost his interest in life. He doesn't care about his looks and attire or dress. He has more pain that could be seen in each wrinkle of his face. He thinks that he is alone. He wears an old faded blue shirt and that shirt is dark with sweat. The tie is undone. The jacket or coat is old and it could not hold his sagging or hanging stomach in. His rundown shoes have paper in them and his rough unshaven face shows pain in each wrinkle. The jazz player's shoes are in a very bad condition. He does not have money to buy new shoes or even repair them. So, the old shoes have paper in them. He has experienced many hardships in life and therefore his rough unshaven face shows pain in each wrinkle. But there he stands, in self-brought solitude, head still down, eyes still closed. Here, the word solitude means the state of being alone. The jazz player thinks that he is alone, that too self-brought solitude or loneliness. He is alone maybe because he is poor and has been kept away by friends and relatives. So he stands alone with his head down and eyes closed. Ears perked and trained upon the bass line, for across his chest lies an old alto saxophone supported from his neck by a wire coat hanger. So far, we have seen the pathetic condition of the jazz player, but in the next lines we find some changes in the jazz player. Though he stands alone with his head down and eyes closed, his ears are perked or brightened up because they are trained to listen even the low tone played by the old alto saxophone which lies across his chest. His pathetic condition is shown again in the next lines, as the poet says, the alto saxophone is supported from jazz player's neck by a wire coat hanger. Gently he lifts it now to parted lips, see, to tell all the world that he is a black man, that he was sent here to preach the black gospel of jazz. These lines create the picture of the jazz player playing his instrument. The minute he puts his musical instrument to his mouth, he undergoes a transformation. The player, who looks old, defeated and dejected, has a complete transformation when he starts playing jazz music. He is now a messenger of God. Now, preaching it with words of screaming notes and chords, he is no longer a man, no, not even a black man, but a bird, one that gathers his wings and flies higher until he flies away. As the jazz player preaches his black gospel of jazz through his music, he changes from being a black man to a bird flying high and higher in the sky. This transformation is a symbol of liberating the spirit of music. It also shows that music has no boundaries. Music has transformed him into a bird. Some modern poets experiment with both form and content. When we observe the lines 41, 42 and 43, we can see that they are different from other lines because the poet Carl Wendell Hines the Jr. has written these lines in a different style. We see that in this poem, lines 41, 42 and 43 are single worded lines and they are indented to show the step format. Although downwards, the step format is suggestive of moving higher and higher, flying like a bird. The poverty-filled life of the jazz player cannot bring down his spirits on the music or come back to find himself a black man again. The speaker says that the jazz player who transformed himself into a bird with the power of music may come back to his pathetic condition of being an old black man with a wrinkled face and worn out clothing. He is a pathetic figure, but at the same time a commanding artist. He has the power in him to make people listen. This is a gift. He is silent in speech but eloquent in music. He was very good at expressing his thoughts through music. Music liberates him from his miseries, though temporarily. Thank you.